Harry was very nervous. Psychiatrists say the late Queen's oracle dealt a fatal blow to the Duke. We and psychiatrists know that memories are different. Hello and a warm welcome to our YouTube channel Princess Diana News. So we just got a report from a respected psychiatrist who refuted the ridiculous things Harry said in his memoir. He said, amidst all the discussion about the accuracy of Prince Harry's tell-all memoir, I was struck by a line in his book, written by Harry's ghostwriter J.R. Mollinger, all the facts you stated are objective. According to the psychiatrist, I am annoyed by the derogatory word, so-called. Of course, the strongest assumption is that truth, reality, facts and objectivity do not matter, yet these things are the building blocks of enlightenment and the foundation of science. He goes on to say that this is all part of the disturbing ideas that have taken root in modern society. That is, one's subjective beliefs are better than, or at least as reliable as, provable facts. This is completely ridiculous and fundamentally dishonest. He has a good point, just think about it. What if I made up a crazy and completely false claim? Maybe Harry, Meghan and I enjoyed a wild night out in Ibiza together. I mean, I would never do that. But regardless, Harry would be right to counter by citing evidence to refute it. And in the end, it doesn't matter if I say that it is my truth. The objective truth of the matter is important here. At least that's how it should be. Now there are so many factual errors revealed in this book, and the psychologist says that none of this should really surprise him. There are many psychological studies that show how unreliable memory is. Memories are sad and confusing. Emotions, feelings, and many other things connect events, create scenes that never really happened, and cloud our memory of experiences or conversations. This psychologist points to something I've heard before, which is that, contrary to what we believe, we're actually not very good at remembering details. Our minds are often confused by things, and this includes chronology. An interesting study was conducted after 9/11 in which researchers asked people to recall where they were and what they were doing when they heard the news about the terrorist attacks. Then, years later, the researchers came back and interviewed the same people again, asking the same questions, but surprisingly, this time the answers were completely different. About 60% of the S parts have been changed. However, they have repeatedly sworn that not only did they accurately describe their experience, but that this new version of events was who they originally said it was. That's what's really interesting about it all. When researchers later pointed out this discrepancy to respondents, they remained convinced that these new memories were indeed real. So the researchers played the original interviewer's recording to people. The men stood there, shocked and confused. I don't know why I said that, it's not true, they said. They always want to stick to the latest version of events. Chapter now, in a therapist's office, facts don't matter. But there is a very important second step in the therapist's office. You explore this understanding of events and gradually realize that you have to realize that there are alternatives to your story. There are different ways to understand it, different ways to interpret it, and it may not be as clear as you once thought. But Harry doesn't seem to have reached the stage of treatment yet. He insisted that only his version of events was true, but that he made very serious errors in his memory. I mean, how could he not be curious if he was wrong in other areas too, like the fight he had with his brother, or some of the intimate conversations he revealed? You know, Harry really should have listened to his late grandmother, who summed it up perfectly when she said memories can vary. What an amazing statement. Growing up, I was taught that lying was a lie, that I can say whatever I want to justify what I said. But at the end of the day it's still wrong. And this is not my truth either. I'm just trying to make myself feel better or look better in the eyes of others. And these are two experts who have not taken responsibility for anything they do. Then we, like the world, must accept their version as fact. Chapter in my opinion, the truth is much better than their truth, because you know what? The real truth doesn't change. The lies they tell will end them. They say so many important things that they don't even remember all their lies, and now we get different versions of the stories they've already told. Like the story of their meeting, and there are many inconsistencies in their account. They really are two idiots. And the truth is that addicts always lie. Yes, this is a fact, this is real. These two examples perfectly illustrate why you should avoid taking medications that affect memory loss and cause paranoia. Chapter: Please don't give them more money to buy their stupid books to buy drugs. In this case, tough love is called for. The royal family is doing the right thing by ignoring all his nonsense, his delusions, and all his demands. In fact, we should all do the same thing. As for King Charles, I know, he could be a little distant at times, but he was always a loving father. Chapter 1 He's like a lot of parents, he has a lot of responsibilities elsewhere. He feels a bit guilty about Harry's development, so I guess he's more concerned about Harry's mental state than others might think. I suggest he consider the future of his second son, as the British people are divided on the monarchy, and those most dissatisfied with Harry's words and actions are actually royalists. It is not right for King Charles to take all the responsibility for Harry's behavior. He is an exception. 2 sons, 1 parent, the same terrible loss of mother. Now there is a second advantage of being on the throne, viz. being a substitute. Harry always towers over his cousins. She was completely upset that Meghan was not allowed to see the princess on her deathbed. Harry probably never thought about his cousins, his grandchildren, who he probably wanted to see. Harry is more than happy to use the hierarchy when it suits him. Harry is the problem. It's not King Charles, and it's certainly not Prince William. Chapter: People seem to forget that his mother died on the same day as Harry's mother. The king is like most fathers, albeit under different circumstances. I mean, he goes to work, but he spends very little free time with his kids. I think one of the biggest differences between Charles and William is that William and Catherine can now take their children with them when the time comes, of course, but that's not usually an option for people like Charles and Diana. And you, what do you think about Harry and Meghan? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below and we can talk about the couple's behavior. Don't be afraid to subscribe to the Princess Diana News channel so you don't miss out on new updates in the future. Thanks again for tuning in, goodbye and see you tomorrow.